Dr. Michael Sterling believed in facts, data, proof. The Bible was beautiful mythology, true in meaning but not in reality, until the day he watched the security footage. His son, David, pulling a dead sparrow from the chlorinated water.
Father in heaven, you made this little one to fly.
Michael had seen David pray before. A child's faith, innocent, pure, but this time was different. This time, the dead lived.
Sarah, I've watched it 50 times. The bird was dead, completely lifeless.
Michael, what are you thinking?
We evolved to see the world as it is, logical, material. Our son has tapped into something I can't explain outside of a lab.
Faith doesn't work that way. You need God. He doesn't need you.
Please, Dad, stop. I am not the one choosing to disobey his father. Do not do this.
Michael refused to understand. David wasn't talking about their conversation. He was speaking of something deeper, something beyond the physical world his father could measure.
Michael, I sent your son out because he is not to hear me correct you. We are to respect our fathers, and you, sir, make that difficult for the boy.
Pastor, think about it. We could change everything. End religious persecution. Bring the whole world to God.
I thought that once. Logic, evidence, proof. In Vietnam, I gave last rites to a dying man. He pressed a note into my hand. Later, I placed his child into his widow's arms. She wept and thanked me. She knew the truth, Michael. Love contradicts reason. Sometimes faith survives even betrayal.
Michael heard the words, but his mind was already elsewhere. Michael had one last idea. Bring David to the company party. Let his colleagues see what the boy could do. But David slipped away early. He never liked crowds. They were heading home when Michael saw the headlights. Jake Morrison. 3 whiskeys past legal. Never saw them coming. David died, holding his mother's hand. In that sterile waiting room, Michael's faith died too. What kind of God gives a child the power to raise the dead, then lets him die?
Michael, our son is gone. I miss him with every breath, but we must trust he is at peace. Stop this madness before it swallows you.
I will not abandon my son. If there is a God, better give my son back.
In that moment, Sarah knew she had lost him, not to grief, but to defiance. Michael buried his grief in work. Temporal mechanics, time displacement theory. Sarah left when she realized he was trying to play God. But Michael was close. So close to beating time itself. The night it worked, Michael wept like a child. He was going back. He was going to save his son. Michael intervened at the bar. Jake never drove. That was the first loop. He thought he'd saved him. But the ledger disagreed.
Tragic accident on Highway 19. The Rodriguez family, parents and 2 children, killed instantly.
Dad, why does it feel like the world is broken?
David didn't understand yet. But something in him knew. This wasn't how it was meant to be. Michael cut the ignition wire. Jake never drove. He called his brother Tom instead. Tom was worse off. 3 blocks from the bar, the crash came. No headlines, no protests. The second loop unwound, a quiet rerouting of consequence. David felt it before the sirens reached the street.
Mom, I feel wrong, like I'm not supposed to be here.
David, don't say that.
Sarah thought it was grief talking, but David was beginning to feel the fracture, the subtle wrongness of a world rewritten, and the ledger had already started to shift. Michael made the call. Jake was arrested before he could leave the bar. That was loop 3. A clean intervention, or so it seemed. But the cell was crowded, tensions high. By morning, 2 men were dead. The ledger had shifted again, not toward justice, just elsewhere.
That was your call? How did you even know?
He was stumbling, slurring. I thought if I stepped in early, maybe...
Father, I feel guilt, but I didn't do anything. Why does it feel like I did?
Michael had no answer. The loop was holding, but David's soul was slipping. And guilt, like memory, had begun to bleed across timelines. Michael felt it. An unseen tension, like gravity pulling against grace. 3 times his efforts had unraveled. Each loop left a scar. Each failure, a deeper fracture. Now, he committed himself to a final act. Not as a scientist, not as a father, but as a soul willing to burn for love. He would not lose his son, even if it cost him everything.
Dad?
David! You left the party early.
I felt you here. And I know now. You can't keep doing this, Dad. I was not meant to be here. You must let me go because you love me.
In that moment, Michael understood. His son remembered. Every loop, every failure, and still. The pain burned within, first searing, then something else. Purity, peace. Michael returned to his own time, but something was different. David's Bible sat where it had never been before. Inside, a note in his son's handwriting.
For God so loved the world. I love you, Dad. And please, give me a sister up here. And Mom, I love you. Take care of each other for me.
Michael never tried to prove God again. Some things he learned were meant to be believed, not proven. And some miracles happen not when we demand them, but when we finally have faith enough to let go.
I'm sorry. I have no right coming to you. My tears have no place here. I am so sorry.
She turned to leave, shoulders trembling, grief spilling from a place she thought forbidden.
Wait.
Michael dug deep in that moment. He held the tissue out, his wife trembling at the sight. Each step forward carried pain, visible in every movement. He closed the distance, placed a hand tenderly on her shoulder, and the moment stretched, as though even the angels had held their breath.
The wound is fresh. It pierces like a hot knife. My David. He was my heart. My whole heart. I've turned time inside out trying to hold him, but I see now he held me. The best way I can honor David is by forgiving your husband. David would want that. You'd want me to act in love. Tell your husband, there is still grace in this world. And if he ever wishes to speak, our door is open.
As Michael died to himself, the new life within sang, loud and pure. In David's face, he had glimpsed the Father. In David's heart, he had touched the divine. Now the echoes burned in his soul, not as torment, but as invitation, drawing him closer to the source his son had always mirrored. And as this sacred connection deepened, he learned what it meant not only to be alive, but to truly live. Their daughter grew strong and spirited, raised on stories of the brother who awaits her, not in memory, but in promise. She spent long summers playing with a child who never would have been had forgiveness not allowed healing. They were best friends. That which should have made them enemies became a product of grace, a relationship that endured for a lifetime. I will never forget the mark my brother left on my life, not just in memory, but in motion. In every act of grace, every choice to forgive, every breath that carries love forward. His story didn't end. It became mine. And that boy, once the son of the man who shattered our world, became the man who helped rebuild it.
For God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.